Shirley here with Jupiter point of Tali. And this is Jupiter hour of the moon day. Moon is applying to Lilith and Spica. Now the thing with the moon, it is separating from an opposition to Chiron. So while I may, and the ruler Venus is in tropical detriment. If you want to work on it sidereally, Venus is exalted in Pisces. So if you would want to, if it's lunar day, lunar hour, in a couple of hours the moon will apply to Spica, but you will need to see what are the hours. And so let's see if we can have this chart. Just have the Placidus, planetary hours. Let's see if we can have for this chart sidereally. Let me see. Because we may have a Spica Talisman election today. We go to the monthly astro calendar. And this is a moon day, 17 February. And so the ingress into Libra was 2 days ago. Oh, but I want to see if we have this one sidereally. So sidereal. And okay, immediately it switches into nakshatras. Let's say fixed stars with a sidereal view. And so we have, yeah, oh, but I cannot navigate this chart. Can I move a day forward? Can I move a day forward? No. So if you're working with the sidereal chart, this one is Lahiri. You want to pinpoint Spica, because Venus is in Pisces sidereally, which means exaltation, and this is good to make Spica talisman. So today we do have election for Spica talisman, but I would need to see, because that would be Virgo, and this we could wait for either a lunar hour or Mercury hour. And so Mercury is right now in the 12th house. Let me see, because I think, and this is 7th house. I want Spica to get to, yes, to the 5th house at least, or the 4th, and we will have a Spica talisman election for sidereal astrology. Now this is very important. For Spica, you might want to add wheat. You might want to think about eloquence, justice in trade, but also justice if you have a court case. Okay, and Lilith here adds when it's cases where sexual autonomy needs to be respected. So I want to wait for the moon to at least reach the 5th house, and then we will have ascendant Gemini with moon with Mercury in the ninth house, but have ascendant sidereal Taurus, which is ruled by Venus. So that is great. And because, let's say for the hours, so now Jupiter, it will be hour of Saturn, sidereally, because we go one sign back. Um, yes, I think so. So this is how I would operate that. Um, for those of you who want to do a speaker talisman today. And I'm actually talking about navigating Pluto in Aquarius and the square to Taurus, the square to Venus sign. And so ascendant conjuncting Venus is a great time to talk about this. And I'm going to talk about a couple of things. First of all, the square between Aquarius and Taurus, the fixed stars with tropical Aquarius and stars, and mainly I'm talking about Deneb Algedi versus Beta Persei and the tension between them, and how we use talismans and remediation to navigate the tension between them. The fact that something carries tension to one another is a growth aspect. It doesn't mean that they can't work together. We actually need that tension to hold that dissonance as we work through something. And I want to begin with a story. When I was in academia, I had somebody who helped me with simple tasks. She wouldn't do tasks for me at home, but she would be there, support me as I'm doing these tasks. And the thing is that recovering from violence, while my mental faculties were good, recovering from violence made it difficult for me to do simple tasks, day-to-day tasks in life, and also I found it difficult to bring meaning to those tasks. So that would mean that when I have to, clean the house or prepare food, and this causes expenses. Okay, if you cannot do the dishes, then you will buy something outside to eat, or if you don't have enough money, you will buy coffee, just so that the little milk will keep you not hungry. Um, and so we found it very, very difficult to get me to do these tasks. I could write a thesis about philosophy of medicine in both holistic and conventional perspective, compare science-based medicine and evidence-based medicine, but I had difficulty to do the dishes. And when it came about with many things and tips that people use to save money when they are students were not available for me because I couldn't practice them. And it doesn't help to shame and blame and this and that. It's either we find a technique or a way where I can do that, or we don't. Now the thing is that I never actually got a curation that respects my sovereignty when it came to curation from violence. And that leads me to another story. I love working with talismans. When I bought the Thema Mundi talisman, okay, it costs $120. It was with extras, it's almost $150 just to deliver it. And I work with Israeli currency. It's a strong currency, but it's not American currency. And so I made it such that if I buy this and some for the necessary essential oils that I need to balance my nervous system, then I have only some money, but it's not enough for food the entire month. I used to do that in academia all the time. But I wanted to do something with my life and delving into astrological magic and to create something, you go for what you want, okay, the next meal, or you want to break through to the situation. And later I would order something for defense, and that was a Deneb Algedi talisman. Now, when I got Deneb Algedi talisman, on the way to Deneb Algedi talisman, I found myself buying olive oil, recalling something to do with measurum, because I'm an aromatherapist as well, and of course mugwort. I found mugwort, and also I found I began to work, but when I got this talisman, to dilute it for personal use so that it will stay for more time. And I found a little spray that I love using, and put that one in that one, and this is for personal use, so it will last for more. And immediately I remembered, for this type of praxis is actually coming from Finland. And from Finland, another thing that comes up is approach called open dialogue, where if somebody has mental issues, even like a schizophrenia or DID, okay, dissociation, but they are believed, they're not taken to hospital or asylum, they are treated within the community, and the point is to make the community adjust so that they are accepted, so that they are a good environment for the person to heal. Because nervous system is environment. And if person have problem with nervous system, okay, let's say schizophrenia, psychosis, dissociation, it means something in the environment is not good for them. Also, Finns, their cure for homelessness is not just housing first. It is housing first independent of your ability to work for unlimited time, for whichever your condition is, your house. It's not you have to first quit drugs, or first, I don't know, decide you don't want to kill yourself, or first decide you change your nutrition if you're anorectic or bulimic. But no, first housing, but also to be believed. And then if you want to do something with yourself, you are supported. But you wait for it to come from you. And this is how they cured homelessness. But people would not go back to be homeless. And so as I'm working with this talisman, I also noticed that I began to curate things that were also curses. So I began to understand that people also use courses. I come from academia. It's not a topic that we study. I know there's people like Angela Puka that study academically esotericism and what people call witchcraft. But that was not for the faculties that I came from. So something like courses, although for the people that gave for these courses were from academia, by the way, some of them, but it's not something that I studied. Okay, so I had no idea that some people would place courses, so person won't be able to clean, for example, and then will have housing problem or employment problem. And that's another thing what I got to work with at Deneb Algedi. And so during Saturn time, I read about Deneb Algedi. Deneb Algedi is also very good to manage the time of Pluto in Aquarius, because this is a fixed star. If you're a night chart and Saturn is not the best for you, like Christopher Warnock recommends, work with fixed stars, because then you have less affliction. Okay, you have to check. There's no Saturn sitting on your Deneb Algedi, then maybe you would want to go for another way to remediate your chart. So this is a great time where Deneb Algedi can assist you. And what I know about Deneb Algedi is wealth redistribution. It took me, but only when I began to read um, from Idola Stellarium, as bring in energies of Deneb Algadine Saturn hour, and remove courses even from the talisman. Okay, if people would course the talisman, I learned to remove the course from the talisman. Sometimes you work with the soil, sometimes you work with water, sometimes you hold it in your hand and very intently set the boundary. Um, and so with the Dola Stellarium, she mentions the wealth of Deneb Algedi. I think Sver and Sandri mentioned that too in a different way. And she mentions the wealth that you build by putting things in the right place, by ordering your environment, and also by saving so that something will not go to waste. You think about me having Deneb Algedi, and for personal use, okay, just so that I will not every time have to go for half month without, buying my own food when I buy talisman, then, but that can assist that I can have for personal use something that I can put some clear water in and some of the perfume, and so I can spray with this perfume. It still works, and it's when I can apply it in Saturn hour or Saturn days or Saturn nights um, when I need that defense. So this is also a way to preserve, okay, for what you have, um, and work with resources in a way that allows you to acquire the good things in life, and think not only of the next meal. So if already I said if I have, maybe I can buy some food, but it won't sustain me through entire month, and then I will feel depressed, not doing something with my life. So I will buy something that supports my dreams and opens opportunities, even if it means I don't have enough food this month. And so for that work can assist you to alleviate that and work with your resources in a way that you have both for this and for that. Now, before I talk about the square with Venus, um, also important to know about Deneb Algadi is that it does bring the law, okay? And so um, that's something to take into account. Oh, I noticed when I work with this talisman, not only this talisman but also Algol, I noticed that people that perhaps have had a way that, let's say, when I wasn't around, perhaps for they said something, or maybe they did something, or maybe I'm not saying cursed, but maybe they were not exactly, let's say, truly authentic and benevolent. I noticed that they seem to try to avoid me. And sometimes, if they send me something, especially around health or mental health, then but I would meet them later and they will have such problem. Because I just do back to sender. I don't know what they send. If I feel energy not good, I do back to sender. Or they would explain themselves and I still, okay, kind of try to avoid me. Okay, so this is where such a thing can help you when you work with that. People that are doing something not good with the law. And again, there is law, not every law is legal. I'm talking about laws that are legal, not laws that are illegal. There are illegal laws, and when there's a law is illegal, then you need to do something. Okay? But when a law is legal, then for the people that are doing things illegal, they stay away. And you see that these people, they begin to walk away from. And if they try behind your back to do courses, you tackle the source of the course. And you remove it. You see that they understand the better off not. Okay? Not with you, not around you. And so, yes, I will make me some cold tea. And this is another thing, but I put a good technique to make tea is if you make yourself a warm tea, okay, just the tea, just the herbs and warm water, wait for it to simmer, then you put some a little cold water, and then for that, spill that into your favorite bottle. So in my case, even the bottle is recycled, but no, really, they did that. Okay, I will put it for just a couple of minutes in the freezer. My God. And then you can have that even if you are on your way. Okay, so if you're traveling and you're not at home or something like that, then for when you have, maybe you make a warm cup of tea, and then with cold water, you mix it, and then you can cool it whether in a hotel or office or academia like I do here. So back to Deneb Algedy. Yes, it brings in the law. You might indeed see more people that are related to the law. What I recommend, if you, let's say, have to do crime, consult the Deneb Algedy how to get out of the situation. So you wouldn't have to do crime. And so it can assist you to get to the root of why people have to do crime and change that. Especially if you have to defend, okay, certain agenda. Or if they make laws in your country that are illegal. So now how is that in square with Venus sign? First of all, the first square is with Beta per se. It's direct square. And the square is that it's very challenging to apply the wisdom of Deneb Algedy for people that were raped. Especially when they were raped and tortured for the intelligence, then they don't have memory. This is why in Finland they do housing first, it's for intelligence reasons. You give a person housing, you believe them, they're allowed to speak. They're allowed to speak, first of all, they will stay with you, they will not work for other countries. And then you don't have to be worried about infiltration. Think Finland is a small country, it's bordering Russia, now it's member of NATO, but before that it's bordering Russia. Had to withstand Europe with all the turmoil that Europe went through, and how will it protect its national security? Warm saunas, and to believe a person, to give them good condition. Here you don't have to do crime. And this is important. So this is also what gives you the allocation of funding to that. And then you discover when people begin to remember, first to remember sexual assault or this or that, but then but other things. And it's necessary to heal from that, it's necessary to speak that. And that way, basically, Finland can protect its borders, protect its national security, because the reason you wouldn't work against Finland, because if you have a good job, you go to sauna in the middle of work, and you save your resources, okay? And with sexual relations, a lot of equity, so it's no sexual shame, but also no, it's just the natural, okay, we respect one another. Perhaps not overly romantic, but it is we hear what people say when they are from Finland. So this is something where, for better per se, if person is raped to do intelligence, which basically they're physically raped and they're electrocuted until they forget things, and then for the dissociated, and then they send them, you think they will send them to an asylum? No. This is how they train for the intelligence, like a project, the MK Ultra that was in the 50s, and unfortunately there's some symbolism that we see globally, again with Ultra, Ultra M, MK, it's the same thing. So, okay, this is something that that immediately you think about Deneb Algedi, which is the truth, but also Deneb Algedi, which is if I have a perfume, and perfume, for example, is a Venus, is a luxurious, then I will dilute it a little bit. Now, perfume you buy for it to be concentrated, but let's say for daily use, or and then you also stand in scent ethics. Okay, you think about if you're going on a train or you're going on a business meeting, and you want to put some perfume or you want to protect yourself for to do ethics. Um, Not every people can be sensitive to the scent. Okay, and it is true that essential oils they curate things, but when you go publicly, then the dilution can be a diluted version for personal use can be good, but you still want to have for the concentrated version, especially if you need to protect yourself or protect your space, or if you go around, let's say go around at night, so you have the diluted version, then you go around at night and you put for the perfume version. So you smell good, but you have this defense. And so this leads me to the other point, which is luxury. Now, the two forms of luxury. One, and people actually, when you think about it, people usually talk about old money and new money. And I actually love the trend of old money. I had a friend that was old money in university, and it was fantastic because I would never get to meet people that's completely from other backgrounds. And she would wear for the same, for the black dress, for the Chanel perfume, or I don't remember what is. She had her scent, this perfume, and for her clothes and some jewels and her and her makeup style and so on. And she told me, we don't buy, once a year we buy something that we need. We don't buy clothes like everybody. She taught me things that are old money. She never said to me it's old money. She said this is what the costumes. Okay, because she wanted to help me, but with my budget and so on. She saw that I'm wearing clothes that are beautiful for academia and so on. And she said, well, we buy what we need. It's elegant and so on. And she was the only one who understood when I had difficulties, let's say, to buy food, but wanted to maintain a healthy diet. And she was going to the gym with me, and we were connecting on that basis. And then when I dealt with things later, then she was the first one who would believe, because she wanted cautionary tale to know, okay, from whom she needs to be cautious as she progresses in academia. So that is the notion that you invest in something good, high quality, but you don't buy everything. So you think about old money as Daneb Algedi wealth. It's wealth that stands the test of time. Now, Beta per se is also associated with Saturn and Jupiter. When you think about new money, now, if you, let's say I did not know nothing about a conference that I'm going, and I'm going to make connections and I need to impress donors. And they don't know, it's not like I'm a student, but I need to, I don't know, I need to show, or I need to show that I can mingle with them. So if I'm new money, I will think, okay, I must buy something that is fancy. Let's buy, I don't know, give brand name bag. Let's buy, I must go to do my hair. Okay, so probably something very fancy. Maybe I need to wear some fancy dresses, not too shouting, but fancy dress, and maybe shoes I must wear. And I wouldn't know what to do, so I would look in the magazine and I would see, okay, well, this celebrity wore this celebrity wore that, and I would do from this I can do, or the fake of that, and I will wear to the party so that I will mingle with the people. Okay? If I'm old money, first of all, I don't need to mingle with the people. There are the quiet brands that says it is wealth, but it's quality thing and it stands the test of time. So if in 50 years they would need to sell it in a museum, then what were people wearing? Then I don't have to worry about passing trends. Now, you can wear something eccentric or you can do some investment in fashion, but normally when you meet and across cultures and so on, and you want to mingle with the crowd, then you're you're going to go for different items of clothing. Okay? And so better per se here is a little bit more to the new money. And why? Because it's coming from a situation where the story Medusa Gorgon, she was raped, she was not believed. So she had to pretend, she had to lie, she had to, okay, she had to mingle, okay, in different way. And also, another reason that they rape and torture people is because that disconnects them from the root. So it's disconnecting from wealth. So they become with scarcity mindset, and they become hungry for some substitute. So that can be sex, and then they are extortable. By the way, to create pedophiles, it's created. It's by design. People are not born pedophiles. Okay, they are tortured and created, and they have such scarcity that from children they have such scarcity that when they bring another child, this espionage that also tortured, then that manages, okay, which is not okay that this happens, but also that thing that scares us, how this monster, no, this monster is created, it's not people born like this. So one is sex, other is greed. Okay, greed also is manufactured, because if you grow around and there is always expensive a bottle of champagne in certain meetings and with expensive items, and you want to acquire experiences, and so when you acquire experience, for example, if you travel, then the best thing for you to do, when I had in COVID to travel and I was channeling, I was taking a supermarket bag with some clothes, and that's it. Okay, for both, for my case, I would need shelter, but you might take a small bag, and that's it. First of all, you don't have problems with security. You don't have to pass luggage. You will have what you need in that place. So you can some rent clothing or you can wear clothing. You will have what you need where you're going, and you don't have to go to security. You don't have to go to research. Okay, you're traveling with this bag, where you're going, where you staying, for this hotel, or this family, and with the seat they brought nothing. Then you get for your card, and you got for your cash, and then you can buy something local. Okay, you can take a small bag, and sometimes people in the bag they already pack for the things. If you wear clothes that you need to okay, that you need to iron, okay, then naturally you're not gonna pack that, or you're gonna pack one, okay, that is for when you can afford to do so. And so uh, but when you don't know that, then you're like, oh, we're going to be there 3 weeks, or you don't have money for to buy the this or to buy the that, you want to keep money for other things, then you take your suitcases. You travel to Switzerland. Your suitcases is happily seated in Tehran, and you happen to have you traveled from Tel Aviv. So good luck with that. You ask, how would the suitcase reach to Tehran from Tel Aviv? Well, if it passes in Dubai, it can. So, okay, that's something to keep in mind. Um, and then for the other thing with better per se, it's that hunger for that greed. That greed is manufactured because if you have addiction, whether it's to greed or to sex or whatnot, then you are extortable. And so, while then Al-Ghadi, if you can assist you, okay, to save your resources, Beta per se assist you to defend yourself from astral rape. Also then Al-Ghadi, it sets the boundaries for the Beta per se for defend yourself from astral rape, to defend your voice, to be believed. And then when you deal less with having to curate from violence, now you can set a plan and acquire the wealth that stands the test of time. So you think about even when you go to luxury, you can the meaning of luxury. Let's take cars, and we think about cars. People replace the cars every 3 years. Okay. One of the advertisement that I seen for a car, Rolls Royce, was 100 years old man was still with the same car. It's a car that stands the test of time. Now this is a luxury, but that luxury has a reasoning, because now when you are 100 years old, your children can inherit this car, and this is an asset. But today people buy cars, the liabilities. And to know these brands that are still manufacturing and still this and still that, okay, but if you invest your money smart, then we will have more of these brands because you aspire to buy. And also if you think about branding yourself, yeah, let's talk about this perfume. I know for this quality for this perfume, I understand, okay, just to be one of the people that would invest in that, I had to learn a lot of astrology. Then I know for when that comes, it's limited time, because they prepare to make it, and then when they make it, even if I have not enough money just for food that month, I will buy that because I know it's good for my chart. And then that also gives the curation, the assistance to remedy that and work differently. Now, if I change, that's the point, if I change my habits, then I get different results. If I would buy, even if I would buy some fish, I can buy some fish, which I did, and I only have enough money for such and such fish, and food is expensive, then I do something where perhaps can open more opportunities, change my mind, and defend me from the energies that keep me spending money, okay, from rape, from torture. Those things keeps you, okay, hoarding things, and they keep you spending money if you feel unsafe. And also for your appetite, you're very hungry because you don't absorb food well even when you do eat good food. So this is how the square between beta per se and Deneb Al-Ghadi can be the conversation between a person that escaped the violence and their social worker. And the social worker, here, come, let me help you with these tips. You see, if you have, let's say you want to go on a meeting or job interview, you have a good perfume. It's no problem. You take this, you dilute it. It's both ethics of scent and you stand in that. Now you sit in with a person escaped violence, they cannot hold a freaking pencil. They bought this perfume to smell good for the job interview, okay? But another thing you need to do is to believe them, is to provide them with housing that even if you can't work right now, rest, this is more important. Now we are working and applying into other facets of the algae in Aquarius to drink enough water, to have a good sleep, for the quality of the water, to improve the quality of the water. To stay away from rehabilitation or treatment approaches that are shaming or blaming patients. This is draining energy. And then patients don't curate. And then just little by little you have power to rehabilitate yourself. And you have to ask yourself, you're going to a job. Why are you going to that job? You just escaped the violence. What are you expecting? Well, I will not have housing. Okay? Well, let's see if there are countries where you could have maybe housing first, or housing solutions that could be fitting to you. Because it's impossible. You're going to go to a work, you're smelling this perfume, everybody's going to go, oh my God, they're not going to like you. Then you're going to get fired. And also, if everybody's going to like you and adjust for you, you're going to get tired. It's a lot. Even when we want to adjust society to us, we also need to be able to make some steps. Now, if we don't have housing, we don't have rest, and we don't have people who do see and believe, then it's less energy. Then we are also draining the energy of society. And then it's very difficult to get people to accommodate. Okay, this is, and also with better per se, you would want luxury. The reason behind that is that Venus is not Saturn, the careful planning and looking scientifically into where is the problem, what is the cause, and where can we interfere to assist. But Venus, which means I am worthy. Let's say you came from trafficking. I heard women that were sex trafficked, and they said, I learned to ask for more money for sex. And that was their way of learning boundaries. They learned to value themselves through what time with me cost such and such. And to insist on that. And Venus, it's about valuing yourself. So that was the beginning of curation, the beginning of understanding that, hey, I'm worthy of something. So that became through Saturn, time. You gotta spend money for that time, gotta spend enough money for that time. Okay? Later, it became, as Venus grows, she understands, well, I'm worthy of having my own sexual pleasure. And then there's also a friction, okay? For not everything I can do, and so on and so forth. And there's also beginning to understand that the things that keep people in trafficking psychologically no longer valid. Somebody said, well, you will find nothing better outside. You said this is not a good enough reason to stay. And how are you to make sure it's better here? Without me, you are nothing. Well, this is a language of person who is trying to undermine my value, and this is unhealthy communication. Trying to make you forget of what you went through. So no, I don't forget. If you stop that, then maybe when I recover I can forgive. But I don't forget. Okay? And that is how Venus works. Venus, remember, you are valuable. Oh, you are nothing, who would want to be with you, who this, who that, and then they traffic this person. Trying to make a bad glamour magic so that you will not have glow, you will not look good, you will not be accepted to job interviews, and then say, oh, here, have this plastic surgery, have this, have this, that. I invest in you, you need to return for the cost. Okay? All those tactics that are harming, they are playing on the value of a person. Why the same people that tell you sex with women is gay, or if a woman has sex outside marriage, she's whore, or if a man had sex with a woman outside his marriage, then she is the whore, okay? She's not important. If you're married with someone, this is your, let's say, your husband or your wife, okay? But that's the person you need to speak with. It's not her standards, it's who you married to. If you're monogamous, if you're not monogamous, it's not a problem. But it's the same people that are human traffickers. Who are the people who told us sex with women is gay? They are arrested. For what? Human trafficking. And even minor trafficking. Okay? This is not to judge them. They got there through also. They were tortured, they were this, they were that, they were that. But we don't want to perpetuate that. We want to change that for society. So Venus is about loving yourself. Now, when you love yourself, so one of the practices is, no, I'm going to spend, I'm not going to save on me. I'm going to spend on me. Then you say in the extreme form, okay, you're going to spend on you, but you will have no money for housing, no money for this, no money for that. And this is where the tension, okay, begins. Because it's important for you to value yourself, and some of these values is, yes, I'm worthy for that fine restaurant. Yes, I'm worthy for this. Yes, I'm worthy for that. But also to be able to deal with times where you want to, and it's also, yes, you are worthy of all of this and of lavish life. And also, this is where we go from new money, but to old money, think about your legacy. Okay, your legacy. You can buy, you are worthy of all of these things here. From these things that you are absolutely worthy of, what do you choose to invest in? And this is the beginning of the remediation of the square between Aquarius and Venus. Now, we can try to work. Okay, Venus is our sensual pleasure and the sense of having enough. So again, when you have absorption of something, is when you're not stressed, the nervous system is in good space, you're not stressed, and you have absorption of something, then you can enjoy and relax into pleasure. And we can try, although it is Jupiter hour, to work with some Venus materia and combine the energies. So I have Venus and the Moon in Cancer. And so I can work with both. And this is already addressing, oh wow, even when diluted, it's very powerful. And that can assist you if Venus in Cancer is also good nourishment, okay? And Saturn is teeth. So we can think about the good food and the sweetness of Venus, but how do you eat the food that is good for your teeth, for your hair, for your nervous system? Oh, which reminds me to take the tea out. Well, out of the freezer. Excuse me, I put glass in the freezer, so I don't want it to explode. Thank you. By the way, another vices both of Jupiter and of Venus is the sweet tooth. And that has also to do, in many cases, with sexual boundary violation. Okay? Not all, it's not the entire story of diabetes, but, and the self value. Okay? You value yourself. When you are less stressed and you are well nourished, you can appreciate, let's say you eat a chocolate, okay? Dark chocolate has magnesium, why not? And you eat a little bit of the chocolate and you're okay. But if you are starving and stressed, you're gonna go for these oily, okay, packed things that are supposed to cover up for all the things that you don't have money to buy or time to eat. It's also to do with your workplace. Are you given enough, do you have enough time, or when you're self-employed, do you give yourself enough time to eat a meal in a way that you enjoy the meal? By the way, most of the conversations, if you think about business, is when you enjoy yourself. This is when most of the conversations, it's not for nothing. You take people on hotels, on vacation, come to the sauna, come to the this, but the Finns, they don't go to the sauna for no reason. You relax, you recharge your nervous system, and then you're more open to hear of new ideas. Okay? Now, if you're doing this new money, then they may offer you alcohol, they may offer you this, they may offer you that. How are you going to make business like that? If you keep a good regime, then it's not a problem. There's alcohol, there's sugar, there is salty things, there's all these things lined. You may try something, but you're going to stick to the healthy choices way easier than when you're all stressed and starving. Model UN, we knew people had to keep that law because otherwise, after lunch, everybody tired, and those that stay standing are the ones that will take the competition. So that is important also when we are discussing food. And when we talk about the sweet tooth or okay those things, again with self-value. And it's not when people say, oh, you need to respect yourself. We don't tell you how. You need to love yourself. We don't tell you how. Well, you need to be believed. You need to be in culture that sees and believes you. Okay, culture that treats people, in cultures where people easily tag a person as not normal, okay, these are cultures that people are less, their nervous system less healthy in. You see that very clearly, okay? In cultures where you say, oh, this person needs to take their pills, you see that these cultures, you will be very stressed, you will find difficult to find housing. You see, Israel doesn't have good housing first and open dialogue. Open dialogue began, but then they don't want to talk about housing. They are afraid. Everybody runs with fear that they will not have enough. And so it's big housing problems. It's a beautiful country. Great innovation, okay, but big housing problems. People at the war, they don't have good rehabilitation for the mental situation. And so very stressed. And so everybody is hungry, but not enough money to buy food. In Netherlands, they came up with open dialogue and there was public housing. Well, the diminishing of public housing, and it's true, there are also immigrants and so on and so forth, and the rising of doctrines like Bassa van der Kolk and stuff like that, where you see housing problems, people stressed, very stressed, right? Um, so we need to change that also in Netherlands. USA with the house flipping, I don't need to tell you, First Amendment gone, Second Amendment, people are too tired to invoke it. So that is managing the square. if you understand what is the tension coming from, okay, value in myself means I want to spend on myself. Hey, I want to relax and enjoy something sweet a little. Great, wonderful. Uh, but we cannot apply what the wealth that stands the test of time if we're not tending to curate from for the violence that associated with violation of sexual and intimate authority and autonomy of and sovereignty of a person. And so, and you also have to understand that if you don't know about this tension, you will fall to the doctrines that work on that tell you these people are not clean, these people are not this, these people are not that. Let's say you're renting, you have an asset, you have apartments, say a complex of apartments, and to say, well, help these people, help that people, and you give them good price, but then people come to you, see, well, it's not clean, it's not this, well, it's not that. Well, you say, okay, I try to help them, but they're not good people. You bring in other people, they are very clean. They are so clean that one day you come and your house is just like you bought it for the first time. Okay? There's nothing in it, nor kitchen, no walls, no floor. Now, will you or will you sell the house? Well, because you are not for the entire welfare, then you need to promote the doctrines that don't take children from their parents when they're poor, like what happened in Netherlands. People blame the prime minister. No, the fact that you could legally take children globally because the parents are poor, then what is this if not child trade? It's not welfare, it is not. If you can feed the children, then the two parents or one parent is not your problem. If you can feed 3, 4 children, 5 children, 6 children, you say you have a place to give them, then the one parent is not a problem to feed. Okay? If you can clean after the 6 children, then eliminate the one parent that can assist you with the cleaning a little bit. It's not your problem. It's child trade. It's global. And so promoting, if you have assets, promoting doctrines that are supportive of believing for the patient so that they can, okay, and assisting patient if patient find it difficult to clean right now and they need to rest, so that they will get for this assistance. You keep your assets and the money comes, whether it's from the government or from the income what the person makes, because the person can be in a situation where they can be making good intellectual profits, but when it comes to do the dishes, it's challenging. Okay. Saturn also governs responsibility, and a lot of things that seem like, oh, it's no responsibility. It's like, well, if you didn't take care, you didn't care for that when that person was raped, you didn't care for the responsibility of the rapist or not to rape. And this is the essence of the score, because the square, because it is between Denebalgadi and Beta per se. Denebalgadi is also your nervous system. It's also about language and expression, language acquisition. Let's talk a little bit about Sweden. Talked about Finland a lot. In Sweden, up until now everybody becomes a bit crazy, but up until now, they would accept the women. Let's say for the refugees, they would accept the women because the women would want to mingle in society. Now, let's say your country mistreats women. Okay? My country, not saint. But I want that your country will not infiltrate my country. I say it's no problem. Women from your country can come here, get good education, get good this, get good that, work, contribute to society, have good welfare if they need to.